Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. And today I wanna share with you, and I wanna show you guys how I missed out on a beautiful, beautiful move in the market. And this rate was in Euro AUD. If you guys have seen my last video, where as every week I record my trading week, and I show you guys this trade. And now I want to explain you guys why I missed out on this move. Let's start off by saying why I was interested in trading this pair, this market this week. And the first thing that I do is my top-down analysis. As I come into the market, I see that this market is bullish. It might appear bearish, but it is actually bullish because this was the lower low. This right here was the lower high. This is a structure point. Price closed above. It broke above this lower high, making this the higher high. I wouldn't really count this as the higher low. And this right here is the higher low. So I have the weekly time frame bullish. The daily time frame is bearish because this was the higher high, this was the higher low. We shifted the structure. This was the lower low, lower high, and then this was the lower low, and then this the lower high. Because price closed below this lower low, and then made this lower low and this lower high. The 4 hour at that time it was bearish. This was the lower low. I wouldn't really count it as the lower high because there is no real structure point. Here the same, and here is actually the lower high. So I have the weekly bullish, the daily bearish, and then the 4 hour bearish. So the way that I trade is that I like to trade with the trend because I don't know if you guys have heard the quote that says that the trend is your friend, and this is very, very true, and this is proof of that. And I make sure that I trade with the trend by having two time frames in sync. What does that mean? Two time frames in sync. I mean, I use the weekly, the daily, and the 4 hour to identify the trend. And if I have the weekly bullish, the daily bearish, and the 4 hour bearish, I have two consecutive time frames in one same direction. For example, if I have weekly bullish, daily bearish, and 4 hour bearish, I have the weekly bullish, I have the daily bearish. Let me change the color, and I also have the 4 hour bearish. I have two consecutive time frames in the same direction. It could consist of the weekly and the daily. For example, if I have the weekly bullish and then daily bullish and 4 hour bearish, for example. Here I have the weekly. Oh, no, here I have the weekly bullish, and I have the daily bullish as well, and I have the 4 hour bearish. In this scenario, these two scenarios, I'm trading with the trend because I have two consecutive time frames in sync. In the first scenario, let's say, I'm trading with the daily and with the 4 hour. In this second scenario, I'm trading with the weekly and I'm trading with the daily. The 4 hour is not in my favor, but it doesn't matter. I make sure I personally like to trade when I have the weekly and the daily because obviously the weekly is the strongest time frame that there is, and the daily as well. I'd rather have the weekly and the daily in my favor. rather than the daily and then the 4 hour. But if I have the three, if I have the weekly, daily, and 4 hour, even better. So I mean, but what I don't have, for example, if I have the weekly bearish, for example, bearish. Sorry guys, if you are noticing that I'm speaking, you guys know I'm not English. I'm Spanish. You know, I'm from Dominican Republic. Sometimes my grammar is not the best. Sometimes, but I apologize for that. So if I have the weekly bearish, the daily bullish, and then the 4 hour bearish. Here, I would not be interested in taking this trade because I have the weekly bullish. I mean, I have the weekly bearish. Sorry, human error. I have the weekly bearish, and I have the daily bullish, and I have the 4 hour bearish. In this scenario right here, I don't have two consecutive time frames in sync because I mean here I have daily and 4 hour. That's two consecutive time frames in sync in one direction. In this other scenario, I have the weekly and then the daily bullish. But in this case, I don't have any consecutive time frames in sync because I have weekly bearish, daily bearish, for the daily bullish, 4 hour bearish. So in this case, I'm not trading with the trend. So let me take this off. Let me remove this. Let me remove this. That's what I do to make sure. This is what it's called a top-down analysis, to make sure that we are trading with the trend. The next thing that I do is I find my area of interest or support and resistance level. The way that I do that is by placing an area within the lower low, which is this one, and within the lower high. I only place an area of interest or a support and resistance level on the weekly and on the daily time frame. In this case, I cannot identify a level of support and resistance or an area of interest on the weekly because the weekly is bullish, and if the weekly is bullish and I'm trying to sell, I cannot place an area of interest to sell if the weekly time frame is bullish. So I have to do it on the daily time frame. And the reason why I only place an area of interest on the weekly and the daily is because the market is going to respect an area of interest on the weekly and in the daily rather than on the 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, etc. So an area of interest is consisted of three touches. What does that mean? For example, if I look left, I'm seeing that in this same area, whenever price is above, it heads up. Whenever price is above, it heads to the upside. Whenever price is above, it head up. So in this case, we are below it. If an area is very well respected when price is above it, well, when price is below it, it's going to be very well respected as well. So, and apart from that, I have this round psychological level 1.64500. And I don't know if I said it well, but that you guys know that's what it is. And after that, I was waiting for my daily rejection from this area of interest, and I always like to wait for the daily rejection, which is a doji right here, something like this that is actually showing me that price is going to reject from this area. In this case, it didn't, so that's why I missed out on this trade. But not only that, if let's say I was not going to wait for that daily rejection. At this point, price broke above this area. and it was retesting it from above. I cannot sell if price is above this area, for example, because you can do something like this. Whenever price is above, it heads to the upside. Whenever price is above, it heads to the upside. I have to wait for price to break below it, then retest it to then sell. But in this case, price only broke below it. It did not retest it, and then it went to the downside. So that was the main reason as to why I missed out on this move. And let's say if I were to catch this trade, I would have called a very nice risk to reward. I would have called something like this: 1 to 6, 1 to 5, 1 to 6, which is amazing, guys. I mean, that is amazing. But making this video to show you guys that this is normal and that these things are going to happen every day. I missed out on more moves than I actually catch, and that is something very normal. That's why we have a trading plan to make sure that every single trade that we take is checked off. And if I don't get my check off, if I don't check every single box that I have my trading plan, I cannot enter a trade. And sometimes I avoid a loss, sometimes I missed out on many profits. For example, in this scenario, in this case, I missed out on this move, on this trade. But on NCD USD, I was looking to sell right at this zone right here. And by waiting for that extra confirmation that I was waiting for in Euro AUD, I missed out on this loss because I avoided this loss, thank God, because I was waiting for that confirmation. Same thing in Euro USD. I was waiting for that confirmation. I avoided a loss. And NCD CAD, I was looking to sell right at this resistance level, and by waiting for that confirmation, look what happened. I avoided another loss. So this week, I missed out on one perfect move. I avoided one loss. I avoided I avoided three losses, and I was also trading gold, and I missed out on another move. But what I'm saying is that sometimes I missed out on some profits. Sometimes I avoid loss. And the importance that's the importance of having a trading plan, and that's the only thing that matters. I don't care if I missed out on this move. This was just simply not my trade. I cannot get mad at it, and I just have to accept it and move on to the next one. So I hope you guys liked this video. I hope you guys found very valuable. And if you guys want me to keep making videos in English, which I genuinely love it, I do it because I love it. And let me know in the comments, guys. And